So Canopy Growth just reported their first quarter earnings, and taken on their own, they're not very good, but in terms of progress, they're actually very strong. Their net revenue increased 24% quarter over quarter, and their cost of goods sold decreased drastically. That's mainly because in the previous quarter, they wrote off a whole bunch of stuff to cost of goods sold, but still, their margin's usually negative a few percent. Sometimes it is positive by a percent or two, but at 5.5%, I think this is the highest I've ever seen it. That's still quite low, but in the same period, they also decreased their operating expenses by 12.5%. But they still lost $85 million, and that's not even including financing costs or non-cash costs. But looking at the individual segments is most encouraging. Their adult use Canada increased by 8% in the quarter, and that's because, as I've explained in previous videos, they used to produce garbage, but then a couple years ago they acquired a good company, learned a lot from them, and are now producing reasonably high quality at a pretty good price. So I'm not really surprised that they're doing well in that category, but I really like their BioSteel numbers, which increased 68% in one quarter. So I've tried these drinks a couple of times, and I thought they were pretty expensive, but also pretty good. But I mainly drink ice water, so my opinion doesn't really mean much there. But the numbers speak for themselves, and that is huge. The margin also improved from negative 136% to negative 24%, which, again, that's obviously not very good, negative 24%, but that is a drastic decrease. They are considering selling that brand, and I'm not an M&A expert, but with such numbers, they'd probably see a lot of interest from Coke or Pepsi or whoever. They might even spark a bidding war, who knows? And that's despite their negative margin, because these people make drinks, and they could probably improve those numbers significantly. And while that's not an industry I really know, I could very well imagine this really helping Canopy's balance sheet. Given all this, they may have a long way to go, but the recent dilution very well may have bought them enough time to get to profitability.